What's good, fam? We are watching the most pathetic chapter of the Drake and Kendrick Lamar saga, and Drake is getting absolutely cooked by his own record label. Universal Music Group just stepped into federal court to tell the world that Drake is a massive hypocrite who cannot handle losing a rap battle to Kendrick Lamar. It is one thing when a rival drops a track that turns the club against you, but your own distributors are now filing legal documents calling your behavior nonsensical. Universal is tired of the games, and they want the judges to know that Drake is trying to rewrite history because he has not recovered from 2024. The boy is spiraling out of control, and even his business partners are distancing themselves from these desperate legal tactics. On March 30th, 2026, Universal Music Group filed a blistering 83-page response brief in the Second Circuit of the United States Court of Appeals. They are not just defending themselves, they are actively pushing the court to uphold the October 2025 dismissal of Drake's lawsuit by Judge Jeanette Vargas. The legal team representing the label is led by Prior Cashman, and they did not hold back a single thing when describing the latest moves coming from the OVO camp. They are calling his appeal astoundingly hypocritical, and they are telling the judges that he is trying to turn the legal system upside down for his own personal benefit. This response follows that massive appeal Drake filed back in January of 2026, where he tried to revive his dead defamation claims over the track Not Like Us. Drake wants the world to believe he was wrong, but his own label says he is just trying to salve his wounds after getting dismantled by Kendrick Lamar. The language used in this filing is some of the most savage stuff I have ever seen because it exposes exactly how Drake is viewed behind the scenes. Universal is making it very clear that this entire lawsuit is nothing more than a rich man's temper tantrum over a high-profile rap battle loss. They are arguing that Drake is essentially trying to sue his way out of a cultural defeat that everyone saw happen in real time. When your own distributor starts telling federal judges that your arguments make no sense, you know you have hit a new rock bottom. The boy is fighting for his life in court because he knows he can no longer compete on the charts or in the streets against the momentum Kendrick has built. It is a wild situation to see a label turn on their biggest star, but Universal realizes that this legal strategy is a threat to the music business. This is where the hypocrisy really starts to stink, and Universal brought all the receipts to prove it. Back in November of 2022, Drake signed the Protect Black Art Initiative petition, which was a huge movement in the hip-hop community. That petition was specifically designed to stop prosecutors from using rap lyrics as literal confessions or factual evidence during criminal trials. The whole point was to protect the creative freedom of black artists and ensure that their art was not used to put them in cages. Drake stood on that platform when it was convenient for him, but now that Kendrick has him in a corner, he has completely flipped his script. He is currently in court trying to argue that Kendrick's lyrics are not art or hyperbole, but literal factual assertions of pedophilia that should be treated as defamation. Universal is calling this move a complete betrayal of the art form, and they are right to point out how dangerous this is for the culture. If Drake gets his way, he would be setting a legal precedent that could ruin hip-hop by making every battle rapper liable for every bar they spit. The label is pointing out that Drake is taking the exact opposite stance of the petition he signed just a few years ago. They are calling him a fraud who only cares about protecting the art when it is his own skin on the line. By claiming Kendrick's hyperbolic battle lyrics are verifiable news reports, Drake is undermining the very foundation of creative expression in rap music. It is a nasty look for a man who claims to love the culture to dismantle its legal protections because he got his feelings hurt by a better lyricist. Things are getting even uglier because Universal is now claiming that if the courts start treating battle rap lyrics like literal facts, it would basically destroy hip-hop as a creative outlet for everyone. Their legal team is pushing the idea that any normal listener knows these tracks are packed with hype and insults rather than being some kind of official police statement. Drake is out here acting like Kendrick needs to be held to the same standards as a journalist at a major newspaper, and honestly, that move just smells like pure desperation. Universal is even going as far as saying this entire lawsuit is a total betrayal of the hip-hop community that Drake always claims to be leading. You really can't argue with the executives who are looking at the actual contracts and the streaming numbers every single day. Right now, those people are looking at a man who seems perfectly fine with burning the whole genre to the ground just to protect his own image. He is trying to use a courtroom to win a fight he already lost on the microphone, but his own label is making sure he doesn't get away with that without a struggle. This whole situation proves that Universal is prioritizing the health of the music business over his personal feelings, which signals a massive shift in how much power he actually has left. Drake is losing his hold on the story, and it has to hurt that his own business partners are the ones pointing out all the contradictions in his logic. One of the most brutal sections of this legal filing shows exactly how Drake dug his own grave back in April of 2024. The label is pointing directly at that tailor-made freestyle where he decided it was a good idea to use those AI-generated voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg. He used those digital ghosts to try and bait Kendrick out of his silence, but he ended up giving Kendrick a perfect roadmap for the entire Not Like Us record. In that freestyle, he literally used the AI Tupac voice to tell Kendrick to mention the rumors about him liking young girls, and that one specific detail is currently wrecking his defamation case. Universal is arguing that since he was the one who brought those claims into the spotlight, he can't suddenly act like they are defamatory just because Kendrick took the bait and won the battle. The court documents state clearly that the lyrics in Kendrick's song weren't just random lies, but were actually a direct response to the exact topics Drake was begging him to talk about. It was a massive mistake. The amount of self-sabotage going on here is almost impossible to wrap your head around, and it looks even worse for the OVO camp now that a massive corporation is explaining it in federal court. The label is basically telling the judge that you can't challenge someone to a fight and then try to sue them for landing a punch exactly where you told them to hit you. He thought he was being a mastermind by using AI to troll the legend, but he actually just built a legal shield for Kendrick that might be impossible to break through. When he put those words into the mouth of a digital Tupac, he made those allegations a legitimate part of the game he was choosing to play. The lawyers at Universal are making it very clear that Drake was the one who designed his own downfall, and they think suing over a response he literally asked for is complete nonsense. Drake played himself there. This is where all that tough talk on the records finally hits the reality of the legal system, and it makes him look like he wasn't thinking even 2 steps ahead. The legal brief makes it seem like Kendrick was just following the instructions he was given, and now that those instructions worked, Drake is trying to call a foul long after the buzzer went off. This whole situation is a masterclass in exactly how not to handle a hip-hop feud, and it proves that Kendrick was playing high-level chess while Drake was just messing around with voice filters. Before we see how Universal is about to flame his legal team over those Super Bowl claims, y'all tell me if Drake is looking like a straight clown for trying to sue after he already got washed. Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you like and subscribe for more. Let's get into why his argument about the DNC just fell completely flat. When we look at the Republication arguments, Universal is shutting down everything he said about the 2025 Super Bowl and the Democratic National Convention using some very cold logic. His appeal tried to claim that every time the song played at those massive events, the label was responsible for spreading the defamation to a brand new audience. The label fired back at the claim about the political convention by highlighting one very simple fact that his legal team apparently overlooked. When the song was played for the delegates, they only used the hook, which doesn't actually contain any of the allegations about pedophilia or the other things he is complaining about. It is just a catchy hook that everyone knows by heart, and playing it doesn't mean the convention was endorsing every single line from the full version of the song. The logic is simple. Universal is making him look completely out of touch by noting that he is trying to sue over a hit song when the lyrics he actually hates weren't even the ones being broadcast to the crowd. Universal Music Group is standing on business with a defense that is just as solid because they are leaning into the cultural reality that Drake keeps trying to ignore. The label is telling the court that by the time Kendrick took that stage in New Orleans, every single person in the building already knew the deal because of months of non-stop media coverage. There was nobody in that stadium or watching the stream at home who was confused about the war between these two, so the claim that Kendrick was out there spreading fresh lies is a massive reach. Kendrick even threw some legendary shade during the set when he told the crowd he wanted to play their favorite song, but warned them that some people just love to sue. That line was a direct shot at Drake being thirsty for a lawsuit, and the label is using that moment to prove the show was a victory lap in a rap battle rather than a factual news report. They maintain that the average fan understands rap battles are built on hyperbolic trash talk and competitive vitriol instead of verifiable journalism. By trying to argue against that, Drake is basically admitting that he does not even understand the genre that made him a multimillionaire, and his own label is happy to point that out to the Second Circuit. They are making it clear that the court should not be out here refereeing rap beefs, especially when one side is just salty that the other side had the better bars. This whole filing feels like the final nail in the coffin for his attempt to play the victim because his own business partners are the ones swinging the hammer. It is one thing to take a loss in a battle, but trying to use the legal system to undo the damage is a level of desperation that is honestly hard to watch. The response from Universal shows they have zero interest in protecting Drake's ego if it means hurting their own legal standing or the integrity of the game. Universal Music Group is not just winning the legal back and forth. They are officially branding Drake as a sore loser who is trying to use a judge to do what he could not do with a microphone. The label describes this entire move as a misguided attempt to rewrite the history of the Kendrick Lamar battle, which the rest of the world already knows was a clean knockout. They are making it clear that the legal theory from the OVO camp is a total disaster waiting to happen because it would strip words of their context and effectively kill the competitive nature of rap forever. If every rapper who got their feelings hurt could run to a courthouse and cry about defamation, the entire genre would be finished. His own partners are telling the world that he is willing to sacrifice the soul of hip-hop just to save himself from the embarrassment of losing the dot. It is a wild situation to witness because the entire industry is watching a major label tell their biggest artist to sit down and take his loss like a man. The filing warns that if the court actually takes his side, the legal system would have to start policing the meaning of every metaphor and every exaggerated bar in the history of music. That is a terrifying thought for any creator who values their freedom of speech and their ability to talk *T without catching a lawsuit. Universal is standing up for the culture in a way that Drake refuses to do right now, and they are basically saying the boy has lost his mind if he thinks he can change the rules just because he was on the receiving end of a legendary diss track. This is exactly why the hip-hop world is locked in on this case, because it represents something much bigger than two rappers having a petty disagreement. It is about whether or not the art form can survive the ego of one man who cannot handle being number two after a decade of sitting at the top of the charts. Drake and his lawyer Michael J. Gottlieb are now staring at a clock that is ticking fast because they only have until April 17, 2026 to file their final reply brief. This is officially the last stand for the legal team, and if they cannot convince the Second Circuit to ignore the massive response from Universal, the door is going to slam shut for good. If the court sides with the label and keeps that original dismissal in place, the legal path for challenging those lyrics in Not Like Us will be closed forever. There will be no more appeals and no more excuses for him to hide behind. He will have to live with the fact that the song is a permanent part of history and that his attempt to sue it away failed miserably in the eyes of the law and his own distributors. The optics of this are just nasty because it looks like he is fighting a war he already lost in the court of public opinion, and he is only making himself look worse with every new piece of paperwork he files. This moment marks the actual end of an era where Drake used his massive numbers and industry connections to bully everyone around him. Kendrick holds the crown and all the momentum now, forcing the executives at Universal Music Group to admit that their star artist turned into a liability the second he started acting out. Universal Music Group labeled their own artist a hypocrite in a public federal filing, which is a massive move they can never take back. The betrayal suggests the relationship between Drake and his label reached a point where it is likely fractured beyond repair. Before we see how Drake tries to navigate his upcoming April deadline, I need to hear your thoughts on this entire mess. Let me know if you think Drake is a hypocrite for attacking the same rap lyric protection petition he once signed just because Kendrick won the battle. Drop your take in the comments with no cap because we are keeping it real today, and make sure to like and subscribe while you're at it. We should get right back into the final details of this situation. The harsh reality for the OVO camp is that this lawsuit caused significantly more damage to Drake's reputation than the diss track ever could have achieved alone. Dragging his own label into a courtroom forced them to expose him in public, proving to the world that he is completely disconnected from hip-hop culture. Kendrick Lamar did more than just win a rap battle when he shattered the illusion that Drake was untouchable and forced him to reveal his true character. Drake is officially running out of time to clean up the disaster he started in the Second Circuit as the April 17 deadline draws closer. A court ruling in favor of Universal Music Group would serve as the final legal confirmation that Drake lost this fight with no hope of a comeback. Everyone in the industry is watching, and the general consensus says that trying to sue your way back to the top is a move only a finished artist would make. The Compton legend is likely laughing somewhere right now since he never had to file a single legal document to make Drake look this bad on a global stage. Drake is finally discovering the hard way that trying to flip the law in your favor usually results in you being the one who falls the hardest.